All right, the long-awaited guide is finally here. I'm going to be giving you guys a guide for the entirety of the first island for the most part, and the best way to progress. For Island 2, I'll make a separate video when I don't know, whenever, you know. But welcome to Dig. Me personally, when you start out, I'd say do the tutorial because you do get a free charm for doing the tutorial. But before you grab the tutorial, before you do anything at all, right, I want you to come inside the sell shop, go to the right, talk to this NPC, and he's gonna give you a quest to dig 15 items, and he's gonna give you a lot of money for completing that quest. So it's a simple quest that you can do while you're doing the tutorial. Kill two birds with one stone. But once you finish the tutorial and you have enough money, you want to come over here and get a rod. So a lot of people skip past the training and all that, but I would personally get, honestly, I don't even think you should get any of these. I think you should just either go for rock shovel or luck. For the most part, I feel like luck is kinda useless, but at the same time it's kinda good, because if you get anything good, you can't really catch it with this shovel because it doesn't have that much good of like strength or control. But the rock shovel does have more strength and more control, so if you get something better, it's pretty easier to catch with the rock shovel. So if I were you, I'd probably go for the rock shovel, but if you want to go for the luck shovel, there's nothing wrong with that either. So once you have the rock shovel, you're probably gonna have a little bit of money left over, or you might have to dig a little bit to get a little bit of money. You want to come over here to the mechanic and actually talk to the mechanic and get a ATV. An ATV is going to be $500 cash, but once you get that, you pretty much don't have to be at the starter area anymore. You can also get charms over here. Charms are really good. I'd honestly say before you leave this area, get the rock pounder and the lucky bell, or you could just come back later and get them. They're very, very good charms. And across from the charm area, there's the bank. The bank is really good for mid game, but honestly, knowing what you get from here is very useful. So we have the banker, where you can store, you know, rare items. So if I wanted to store all these rare items that I have, I could just go ahead and withdraw them in here, right? I can only do 12 at a time, but I confirm it's in there. I close it off and it's safely in my bank. I can't sell it on accident or anything. And the appraiser over here, you can actually, it's kind of like fish. You can appraise your item. So if I have a gold nugget right here, I want to appraise this. It can become bigger, better, or, you know, get a mutation or modification, what they call in this game. So you want to do that. And then there's also the charm chisel that you can buy for 25k. So when you buy the charm chisel, I already have it. It's 25k. It reevaluates the pips on a charm. So let's say I finally buy the luck bell and I kind of don't like the stats on it. Let's say it's like S, or not S, it's like D. I can get the charm chisel. I can use it on my lucky bell right here. It's like a pencil. You use that and you can spin the stats on it and also the pips. So it's not that expensive. It's like 400. The price ranges on how good the actual item is. So you can kind of like spin for better pips and better. You can get like SS and stuff like that. You keep spinning it, and you can see how it's like changing every time I spin. So yeah, that's kind of a better way to do that instead of like entirely buying a brand new charm. You can also have up to 3 charms equipped at the same time. So it can be 3 of the same ones, but they have to be like duplicates. Like you have to have 3 of the same ones literally, or it can be 3 different ones. It could be whatever you want it to be, you know. And you can also make loadouts. So if I want to make different loadouts for different things, I could definitely do that. So I can make a loadout for luck. I can make a loadout for, you know, just kind of like balancing it out. I can make a loadout for straight strength. So you can kind of switch in between whatever loadout you want to use mainly. And when you go along, when you progress in the game, charms are going to become really like more expensive, so you definitely don't want to do that. And then last but not least, there's magnets. I feel like a lot of people are going to tell you to ignore magnets in the beginning. I feel like you should, but at the same time, don't ignore them completely, because they're not that pricey, but they are a little pricey. You can buy 25 for 2.5k, and you can actually get really good magnets like golden horse, 3 times modifier chance, legendary magnets right here. So it has a 1.5 chance for legendary items, so you can get really good stuff from this. So yeah, don't ignore the magnets completely, but in the beginning, they're not too important and they're way too expensive, to be honest. You want to save your money. But yeah, once you finally are done with that, you pretty much don't really have any point of being here besides completing the journal. I think it's a part of Fernhill Forest, so Foxtown doesn't really have its own area. And you do get a charm for completing any of these pages. So if you want to see, I do have a video of that, of every single charm from the journal, so go ahead and check that out. But once you leave Foxtown, I would definitely say go to the shore. So take a right from Foxtown. You kind of see the signs actually guide you to all the places, but just take a right over here and go over here to the beach. And this is kind of the place you want to farm until you hit maybe level 15, 20. There's actually a rod over here and a bunch of charms too. There's 2 rods over here. There's the ruby shovel and then there's the bell shovel. I honestly don't think buying the bell shovel is worth it. I just go for the ruby shovel because the ruby shovel stats are actually pretty good. Ruby shovel has 20 boss damage, 6 control control, 7 strength, 3.5 haste, and 13 luck. But then if you go straight from across where you got the ruby shovel over here, it'll say like totems right here. You can get totems, which are things that buff your stats to give you better things. So like if I buy this and I buy this one, glistening totem, it gives a plus 200% shiny item chance, and then this one gives a 25% odor chance. And then you can buy some pearl necklaces over here and fortune bells, which are like better luck bells from the beginning, the charms I showed you guys in the beginning. So this one can have up to 1 to 2 pips, give 1 to 6% luck, and then this can give endurance and luck also. So these totems can, like, you place them down and it kind of like it'll give you luck after a certain amount of digs. You know, there's like luck ones too. If I buy this one, you can get these normally from repeatable quests and you kind of like stack them on top of each other, but I'll talk about these later on when they're kind of relevant. But from across the area where you bought the rod or shovel, sorry, there's going to be an NPC right here you could talk to that gives you a quest. Always talk to NPCs whenever you see them, any NPC, just to make sure it's, you know, it's not a quest or whatever, or, you know, stuff like that. So you can kind of like kill 2 birds with 1 stone, do this quest and kind of dig here for money at the same time. He's going to ask you to dig up, I think, maybe a fishing rod and a fish, which is very, very easy. Maybe a fishing hook also, all like common items. And he gives you a lot of cash and he gives you some really good magnets like this. It might change, I don't know, but we will see. This is a very good shovel to, you know, kind of get you through the starter. But once you kind of like get this shovel, you have enough. This shovel's 6k also, yeah. So once you have enough for the shovel, you kind of like farm here, get your money up, 6k, you buy that. You can kind of start fighting bosses and you can kind of start going for the guild combat area. So once we here, I'll show you guys how to get there. You want to come back over here and just follow this trail. Take a right over here. Oh, King Crab spawn. We'll go back over there. Take a left over here, and then you want to take a right into this forest. And there's going to be like a little hut you can actually go to. It's called the Combat Guild. So when you talk to this dude, he gives you a certain quest that you have to complete. He'll give you a quest. Mine is a little bit harder because I'm kind of more progressed in the quest line. But he'll give you like a quest to do, like maybe sell 15 items, dig up a couple of items. And in return for completing the quest, you get obviously money, EXP, etc. You get a lot of money actually. You get +1 boss damage from the bounty hunter. So +1 per combat guild quest completed. This is a repeatable quest, so you can just come back every time you complete it and grab it and keep stacking the quest and stacking them. Obviously, the more you do them, they'll get a little bit harder. He'll ask you to do a little bit harder tasks. But sometimes he'll give you some easy ones along with that. And also at the combat guild, I forgot to say, hold on. If you look to your left and to your right, there's going to be gears that you can actually use for the bosses and a shovel right here. These kind of like heal you towards the boss, so they kind of like regenerate your health. This one kind of like protects you. So it's like a shield. So 50% of boss attacks are parried and you neglect all damage. And this one's kind of like the very bottom of the bottom regen coil, and it just occasionally heals you. And then to the left over here, there's horns, which you can use for spawning in bosses. So the only way you can unlock these is by beating the boss, and it'll tell you unlock the item at the combat guild. This one is going to be the King Crab boss, which you can, if you beat, you get, and you can come over here, buy it for 25k if you want to spawn in the boss. Over here is the Phantom Horn, which is the Candlelight Phantom, which will spawn in a little bit, which spawns in the Fernhill Forest. And then this one is the Toxic Horn, which is the Basilisk boss, which spawns at the second island. We'll talk about that in the Island 2 guide, so we're gonna make 2 guides. But then if we turn around, there's the Slayer Shovel for 40k. Slayer Shovel is, I think, always going to be, maybe until there's like an update, the best shovel for boss damage. It has 80 boss damage. There's no other shovel that's even near that. I think the most besides the Slayer Shovel for boss damage is like 60. So if you're gonna go, whenever you're fighting a boss, maybe towards, you know, mid game, you really, you know, want to do as much damage as you can, because there are going to be some bosses that are really hard to beat. So you know, everybody's got to be putting in as much damage as they can. You want to go with the Slayer Shovel. To be able to buy the shovel, you have to defeat a certain amount of bosses. I think it's around 6 or something like that. So defeat 6, but it'll tell you when you try to buy it how many you have to beat. But yeah, but let's come back over here to King Crab. So I'd say your goal is, while you're progressing, watch out for any bosses that spawn. Bosses spawn normally along with the King Crab, Candlelight Phantom, and the Basilisk spawn normally. All the other ones are bosses spawned by maybe totems or something. I'll show you guys later on. But yeah, I'd say if you ever see the King Crab, definitely try to beat him, because you can actually get a lot of stuff from him. If we look in the boss journal, you can get a shovel, which is really good. King Crown, which is just King Claws, sorry. King Claws, which you can sell. It's 100%. Get a little bit of money. King Crab himself, which is a 20% chance, and it sells for a lot, obviously, but you can save it as like, you know, decoration or whatever. Crab Crown, which is a cosmetic for your car. A sticker, which I don't know what that's for, but it's just a sticker, nothing crazy. You get cash 100% and you get EXP 100%. But the reason why you want to do Ruby Shovel is because Ruby Shovel has 20 boss damage. Oh, actually, you want to use Rock Shovel. Sorry about that. Ruby Shovel is good for like money, and then Rock Shovel you want to switch for like boss damage. So watch the boss damage. If you hover on your shovels, you can see the boss damage right here. I use Rock Shovel. You get 25 actually with this, but I think the control bar is bigger on the Ruby Shovel. So yeah, but if you just want to go straight for damage, you want to get as much damage as you can, use the Rock Shovel. And when you beat him, you obviously have a chance to get the shovel, which is the Abyssal Shovel. This is really good. It has 5 control, 9 strength, 1 haste, 20 luck, and 35 boss damage. So next time you fight a boss, you will be pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. So let's say you have the Abyssal Shovel finally, or you have the Ruby Shovel. Either way, it doesn't matter, but the Abyssal Shovel is obviously better. I would say if you have the Abyssal Shovel, just stick with that for a little bit until another boss spawns and you can get another shovel from a boss. But if you have a little bit of cash, let's say you grind up, maybe you have up maybe close to 50k or a little bit less, maybe 20 to 50k. This area is kind of like, it's a little outdated for you. You can't really make as much money. What you want to do is actually follow me over here out the beach, and you want to follow this path I'm taking right here. Take a right again, obviously. Take a left over here. Combat Guild's over here, but we're just going to keep going actually straight and follow this path over here. Past the scar, take a right over here. Just keep going, following this path. We're going to enter the Rooftop Woodlands. Rooftop Woodlands is very, very good, but you just want to, there's going to be rods over here like these. If you want them, you can go ahead, but me personally, I wouldn't recommend it. It's kind of a waste of money. It's like very expensive, like 30k. But if you want it, if you think it's better and if you think you'll do better with it, feel free, but I personally don't think you should. I would stick with the Ruby Shovel and come over here actually. So there's going to be a merchant and a mechanic right here. Just go past them over here, over to the ghost area right here. It's like a graveyard. You want to talk to this NPC right here, and talking to him, he's going to ask you to dig up 3 ghosts that look like this. They're legendary creatures. They're pretty hard to get. Preferences, they spawn in the summertime, so do it around summer, maybe not, even though you can still get them regardless of the preferences. But in return for digging up 3 ghosts and completing this, he'll give you a charm called the Ectoplasm Sleeve, and you have a 20% chance an item turns into plasma. So that's pretty much a modification. Kind of looks like this. So with this, you'll make a lot more money. If you want, you can grab this earlier on and have this quest, but the only place you can dig it up is within Fernhill, anywhere within Fernhill. So you can kind of grab this quest and go somewhere else within Fernhill and do other stuff. But once you leave Fernhill, there's no way you can get ghosts. But I try to complete this quest. If it's too hard for you, come back later when you have a better rod or a better shovel, sorry. But I definitely say getting the plasma sleeve is kind of a must. So once you maybe complete that, or if you want to leave and do this later on, follow my path. You actually want to take a left right here past the graveyard and keep going over here. Take a right to exit and take a left again, kind of squeeze through the forest. It's pretty much just following the path from the merchant over there all the way down here. And you want to go up the mountain, and we enter Cinder's Approach. So now we're going to be at Tom's Bakery, and Tom's Bakery is actually really good for kind of early on. He gives you quests like this, like dig 5 loot, like crates, enchantment, totems, etc. You can come to him and turn him in for a little bit of money and EXP, and he'll actually give you some lemon cupcakes and cupcakes that actually buff you temporarily for like a couple of minutes. So like key lime will give you plus 0.5 luck, blueberry will give you 10 boss damage, sweet berry cupcake will give you plus 0.25, and you can come here and repeat these quests, but sometimes he'll give you like kind of difficult quests like these, or maybe like dig up cows or something like that. But for the most part, there's somewhat simple, like dig up 20 items, dig up 5 modified items. So like items with modifications like the plasma, 20% chance to turn items to plasma. So that's why I said getting this will be very useful. It'll kind of help you kind of get through these quests and stuff faster. And once you do enough quests from him, you can buy the cupcakes by itself. You don't have to do the quests, and he'll just sell them to you by itself. But you have to do a certain amount of quests for that. And there's also the shortcake shovel over here for 45k, and the shortcake shovel has 7 control, 11 strength, 4 haste, and 18 luck. If you want, you can buy this. It's actually not a bad rod or shovel. It has a 25% chance to make an item like tasty, which is a modification. This isn't bad. I would say go for it, but if you want to just save your money, the end, or not end goal, but kind of like towards the end goal, is Prismatic shovel, which costs 250k. So once you're over here, you want to farm till you feel like you're at a good point, get a little bit of money, and keep exploring exploring. Definitely feel free to explore. You definitely get rewarded for exploring. But once you grind a little bit here, you kind of like, maybe you get a quest that tells you to go somewhere else and you kind of have to like go explore. But let's move on to the second boss, which is the Candlelight Phantom. But let's go ahead and buy the Phantom one and spawn him in. So when you spawn it in, it kind of looks like this. And it shows you where it is, and it kind of gives like a notification, and it pretty much tells almost everybody in the server or anybody like on this island that the boss just spawned, so you can go ahead and get some help. And it kind of shows you where to go, it kind of guides you, it gives like an indication of where it is. So once you see this boss also gives a bunch of drops, but it has a lot of HP. So this is the Candlelight Phantom. This one, you know, they all attack, so you know you want to be careful. I feel like I didn't talk about this, but if you're fighting it and then the hitboxes come on you, you just want to jump out the way and just keep digging. It's pretty simple, or just jump out. But this boss actually has a lot of drops also. It has the Candlelight Shovel, which is a 40% chance, Candlelight Lanterns, which is a 100% chance. You'll always get them. You can sell them, get a little bit of money, so there's always a reward for beating these bosses. Candlelight Phantom himself, which is a 20% chance, and the Candlelight Tendrils, which is a 7% chance, and you get a sticker, obviously, some money and some EXP. So beating these bosses are always rewarding. And the Candlelight Shovel is very good also. It has 5 control, 10 strength, 5 haste, and 15 luck. It has 30 boss damage, but it is obviously better than the Abyssal Shovel in strength. And trust me, that +1 strength is you'll definitely notice that +1 strength. It has more haste and more luck, but you can kind of like go back and forth between these if for whatever reason, you know, if you prefer either for certain situations, maybe for bosses and then maybe for money. So you can go between these. And again, feel free to explore, check out any of these areas in the map. There's Fernal Forest, Verdant Vale, Cinder Shores, Rooftop Woodlands, which we're at right now, Cinder Cave, which we're gonna go at in a little bit, Mount Cinder, Copper Mesa, Alona Jungle, Mount Charcoal. Let's actually go check out Mount Cinder, which is at the very top of this map. So let's spawn in my better car actually. So it's gonna be all the way past Tom's Bakery. So you just want to go past Tom's Bakery, come to Tom's Bakery, go all the way past it, and just keep going all the way up. So once you get to the top, there's going to be a glider actually right here you can buy. I recommend buying this glider. It's very useful. It's 3K, but only if you can afford it. Don't feel, you know, pressured. There's a merchant, so you can farm here and kind of like sell right here. You don't have to go anywhere else. Pretty good place to farm whenever you get a little bit more advanced. But if we take a right, there's 2 paths right here, one to the left, one to the right. If we actually go to the left and we follow the trail, we will see, oh my gosh, we will see a sign that kind of leads us to the pizza place. So over here is going to be another kind of like Tom's Bakery or something like that. You know, it's going to be like another quest thing that you can do. And pretty much all you have to do is talk to the NPC and then he'll give you a quest. You talk to this dude right here. He'll give you a quest to go deliver pizza to a starving customer. When you do that, you deliver it to them, you come back up again. So it's kind of like very lengthy, but you can repeat this. And every 9 quests, he'll give you a totem to use. Totems you can use for like buffs. So this one gives me like 200% shiny chance. This one gives me like 25% boss damage. You can actually see some more over here. There's Arcane Totem, which gives 25 or 15 luck. Essex Totem that gives experience buff, and the Monarch Totem again, which is the boss damage buff one. And if you actually do 50 deliveries for the Pizza Penguin, they give you a car that goes 85 miles per hour. It's very fast. This one over here costs 900k and it goes 105. So if you don't want to spend too much money but want a fast car, I definitely say try to do these for a pretty fast car. Oh, we also have the Traveling Merchant, which actually spawned in Fernhill. We'll check that out in a second. So if we come back down here and instead of taking the left path, we take the right and we go over here, there's going to be an NPC we can actually talk to. So if we take a right here behind this rock, which is kind of like hiding, but if we come back here, we're going to see a helicopter. And for coming all the way up here, we can talk to this NPC and actually buy a flare, emergency flare for 30k. So this is actually used to swiftly take you back to Foxtown. The cooldown's 1 minute, but you can always use this. It'll never go away. So using this will teleport you all the way back down to Foxtown, and you don't have to reset. And if you reset, I'm gonna show you what happens if you reset. You actually lose a lot of money. So if you have like maybe 10k, you'll lose like maybe 2 to 3k. So you just want to be careful when doing stuff like that, and you want to be careful when dying. So dying to bosses is definitely, you know, consequential. Traveling Merchant is actually something you want to check out whenever. You know, this is not like a level requirement, but you can get the Prismatic shovel from here, which is the shovel you want to kind of aim towards for, you know, middle high tier gameplay. So it's 250k, so try to farm up as much money as you can. This is this is a really good shovel. And he also sells like gears and stuff that buff your damage and stuff like that, so always check him out and see what he's selling. Anything that catches your eye, you know, something good for your build. And we'll talk about the prismatic shovel in a minute. And the traveling merchant spawns every like 10 to 15 minutes and despawns every 10 minutes, so you will definitely see him very often around the map. It's not something too rare, so whenever he spawns in, check him out. He'll always have something good, so you know, check it out. You can he has things ranging from very, you know, cheap to very expensive, so you'll always be able to forge something in there. But me personally, what I did is I got Candlelight shovel and I farmed to 250k. I didn't buy any shovels after that. Probably wasn't too smart, but you know, I got the job done. What is this? Is this a homeless person or something? What is this? So now next we have totems. We have enchant totems. Use that a mysterious altar to enchant your shovel with a random enchant. So you can enchant your shovel. Where to enchant your shovel is the cave. We're at Foxtown. We want to go straight this way and take a left over here. Take a left right here, and then just keep following this path. Past the car, take a right, and then you're gonna see like a little empty stand right here. Take a left and you'll be towards the cave. So there is another way to get this enchant, which I'll show you guys as soon as we're done explaining how to enchant your weapon if you get an enchant totem. Enchant totems you can get from, you know, digging up anything. Whenever you're digging, there's a small chance to get enchant totems. But if you come all the way down here and you come to the elevators, that's your elevator right here, you want to talk to Jim Diamond, and for 1k he'll tell you you can actually go down there. So pay the 1k. It's a minute 45 on the elevator status. Go in and you just wait until you can go down. All right, so when the time comes, obviously you'll be sent down and we can leave. Let me out, let me out. So if you want to leave, you can come back over here and talk to the elevator dude and talk to him, and he'll send you back up. So if you ever want to come back up, it's right here. But this place, it obviously there's always a mechanic or a, you know, magnet shop or whatever at every area or whatever. So what you want to do is just go straight from the elevator to find the enchant area. There's a bunch of other stuff here, but to find the enchant area, you just want to keep going straight and find a blue mushroom. Blue mushrooms are indications that you're going the right way towards the azure area, which is the area to enchant your shovel. So just keep following these blue mushrooms. Take a right here, take another right, and just keep following these mushrooms. Keep following them. So every time you'll see a mushroom, there's one right here and then there's one right here. So don't get confused. You don't take a right over here. You know, you see it right here and you take a left. Just keep going. But obviously, you know, you got me. I'm guiding you. So just keep following the mushrooms. Boom. Right here, it's going to be a little tricky. You'll kind of be like, where is it? It's right here. Take a right. I'm just doing this so you guys don't get lost. Another one right here. To your right. Don't get lost. So take a right over here from the other mushroom and just keep going straight. And then once you're like around here, it's pretty much a straightforward path. And you just keep going. So once you're here, it's a little bit dark. I have no idea why it's this dark. But once you're here, you'll see a big old mushroom over here. You gotta walk because you can't really drive your car over here. So just walk over here. And if you have the game pass, spawn it back in. But me, I'm definitely gonna do that because I'm not about to walk all the way over there. But just come over here and you're in Azure Hollow now. Azure Hollow is a very good place to farm cash too. But over here, there's going to be a enchantment area right here in the middle. You want to equip your shovel, whatever shovel you want to enchant, hold it out, and pretty much enchant altar. Talk to enchant altar. Boom. You enchant your shovel, and it's pretty much as simple as that. And when you want to leave, you pretty much just follow the mushrooms back to the start, or if you have the emergency flare, just pop the emergency flare and use that. There isn't much over here besides that. There is a merchant over here, obviously, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And whenever you want to leave, just go back to your car over there, and it's just simple as that. But if you have emergency flare, boom, pop emergency flare, and it'll send you back to Foxtown. So now for buying the enchant, you can also buy the enchant tomes. You just want to go to Fernhill, follow my path, or not Fernhill, you want to go to Rooftop, sorry, go to Rooftop. You just want to come all the way up to Rooftop Woodlands. Once you're here, just follow the path, and then you want to pass the big old mushroom right here, and then take a left once you're at this tree, and then you can go in here and you'll knock on the door, and then like NPC will come out, but it's only at a certain time. So you knock on the door, he'll come out, but it depends on the time and the weather and everything. It only comes out during certain times. All right, so I think he only spawns during summer and autumn during nighttime. It might take a minute for him to answer. Hold on, let's see. He's gonna come. Okay, there we go. It's a dark wizard, and then when you talk to him, you can buy enchantment totems from him for 15k and use them at the altar. And if you're curious as to what, you know, season it is or whatever, like last time, I don't know if I talked about this, but just hover over the icons in the bottom right. You can see it's nighttime, summer, and rainy. And if you want to kind of like change it to nighttime, or you want to like change the nighttime or spawn a weather in, you can actually do that manually with horns. So horns are kind of like the, you know, totems of this game or whatever. So if you leave from Foxtown, take a right over here. Actually, no, just keep going down. Sorry, just keep going down right here. Take a right at this lamp right here, and then right here at the final lamp, take a left. You'll see like a little hidden area right here, and you'll be able to find 3 horns here. One of them being the Stormcaller, which spawns a storm in. Other one being a Horizon Horn, which skips the day and makes it morning or nighttime. And the final one being the Tempest Horn, which causes it to rain. And only 2 out of the 3 are able to be changed. So nighttime can be changed to morning or night. Weather can be changed from rainy, stormy, cloudy, whatever. And then seasons cannot be changed at all. So you just have to wait for it to become the right season for whatever you're looking for. And I feel like a lot of people are like gonna want to find the best places to farm for money. I'd say for the first island, it would obviously be Mount Cinder, which is at the very top of the island here. Mount Cinder does have a lot of divines, but you can generally farm anywhere and make a lot of money. So it's not really that much of a price difference for farming in certain areas. I would say it's more so luck. But now, Prismatic Rod. So if you do get the Prismatic Rod, finally get the Prismatic Rod, 60 boss damage, 9.5 control, 9 strength, 5 haste, and 20 luck, and you have a 20% chance for a mutation to be I don't know how to say it, bro. Iridescent, I don't know, man. This shovel is very, very good. Oh my god, the effects look crazy on this, bro. Oh my gosh. But yeah, this shovel is very, very good for farming. This isn't the best shovel. Oh my god, I have no gears on. Sorry, I don't know why I'm. Hold on. But yeah, this shovel is very good for farming. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4. We do 4 clicks and we get a item. But the Iridescent mutation or whatever is, or modification is, I think 3.5. I'll try to get it real quick. Okay, there we go. Tiny Iridescent, whatever. If you actually hover over a item with a mutation or modification, you can kind of see how much the modification gives. So this one gives ×5, which is pretty neat. You can kind of see like how much it gives. So you don't have to like, I don't know, look at a wiki or whatever. This is kind of has its own information by itself. So yeah, Prismatic is very good. I think you could throw any enchant on this. I'd say either strength, bulky, luck. You throw whatever you want on it, but it's very good. And then last but not least, we have the best shovel in the game. Where is it? Starfire Shovel, bro. It has 9 control, 10 strength, 5 haste, 30 luck, and a 35% chance to turn an item celestial. I've got luck on this shovel, but it's very good. Even strength wise, it's very good. It has the same clicks as Prismatic, but if you get a little bit more strength than I have right now, you could probably get it to 3. Celestial mutation is a ×4, so obviously Prismatic's mutation or modification is a little bit better, but you have a higher chance to get the celestial mutation or modification with Starfire. So overall, Starfire is better in luck than Prismatic. Where is it? Prismatic has 20 luck. This one has 30. Strength is 10. Strength is 9. Control is 9. Control is 9 or 9.5. Haste is 5. Haste is 5. So it's a little bit, they're better than each other in certain aspects, but in the end, I definitely say Starfire is better in the end. And to get Starfire Shovel, you actually have to get it from a meteor. So you have to wait for a meteor shower or whatever, and then you have to wait for a meteor to actually hit the ground, which is by itself already kind of hard. And then on top of that, you have to get maybe it's like a 1 to 10% chance for the shovel to actually be sold. And then on top of that, the shovel is 500k. So this is a very hard shovel to get, but I'll show a clip of what it looks like when it spawns.
Question. Did you start moving only?
Ooh, meteor. It's been a minute since the last meteor. What the heck? Oh, Fernhill. All right, let's head back though, because we gotta check if that's the star shovel. Let me go check it out. Let's see if it's even worth buying still. Oh, there's two things here. Also, a couple more things. If we actually come back to the cave and head back down. All right, now that we're down here, if you actually follow my path down here, we go over here and then we take a left. And we come down here and then I take a right, I think. Yeah, you see those lights around there. You come over here, take a left. Bro, it's so dark, I don't know why, but if you take a left right here and go down here towards this little temple thing, there's actually going to be some NPCs over here that you can talk to, and you can turn in a gold nugget to this Jinn of God of Gold, offer an item, give it to him, and he actually gives you 1 hour of luck, so +2 luck for an hour. But yeah, I think I went over everything that needs to be known, and I feel like this is a good enough guide. I don't want to handhold you guys throughout the whole game. You know, you gotta play the game, explore the game. There's a whole lot of secrets in the game, I'm not gonna lie. There's some that I even haven't found personally, so definitely go ahead and explore, and if you ever find one, send it to me. I know there's like a tree one, so keep your eye open, keep your eye peeled. But yeah, if there's anything I missed, I'll probably make another one and include it in the part 2 for the, you know, second island. I'm gonna do a guide for the second island. Also, if you want to know how to get to the second island, just go over to Cinder Shores. So come down to Cinder Shores, take a right over here by the Cinder Ferry, and all you want to do is talk to this dude and take the ferry, and you're over to the second island. I can see it from here. Oh my gosh! But you're gonna need 3K to pay for the ticket, and then I think half of Cinder Shores journal completed, so you gotta complete half of the Cinder Shores journal. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. I think that's all you guys need to know for now. And if I need to make an updated one, I will. But I think this one was pretty good.